Hello, welcome to my channel, Inflightmuzik. My name is Ian, and today I want to show you a new scale that will help you bring a more exotic sound to your beats.
3, 2, 1.
So this is actually part one of two videos that I have planned for showing you a couple new scales to get more exotic melodies for your beats. And of course, as always, if you've seen in my previous videos, whenever I'm talking about scales or melodies or chords or anything like that, I've been including a free MIDI pack in the video description of all those videos, and this is no exception. This MIDI pack in particular has double the amount of MIDI melodies or just MIDIs in general than any of my other free packs. So this comes with 20 different melodies and 2 different scales. But in this video, I just want to focus on this scale in particular, which is the Akebono scale. And these are the notes that this scale consists of. So if you've seen my dark melody tutorial, I basically taught you guys what a hexatonic scale was, and that's a 6-note scale. So these exotic melodies actually only have 5 notes in the scale. So these are pentatonic scales. Now, one pentatonic scale that some of you might already be familiar with, you'll notice that on an ordinary keyboard, there are 5 black keys. And this was the first pentatonic scale that I ever taught myself before I even knew there was a such thing. But if you just play the black keys, you automatically get an Asian or a Japanese type sound. And I'll go ahead and play that for you. Before I play that, I want to show you what instrument that I'm actually using to play these sounds. And all these sounds are coming out of Expand 2. And the preset that I'm using is called Far East, and it uses a shamisen or a shamisen. I'm not sure how to pronounce that. And it's layered with a shakuhachi. Again, I'm not sure on the pronunciation of either of those two, but I know that this patch right here, the shamisen, has a deep-rooted tradition in Japanese music. This and the koto instrument are pretty iconic, but I'll let you go ahead and listen to what this sounds like, and I'll go ahead and just play the black keys so you have an idea of what I'm talking about. So that's an example of using the pentatonic scale or a pentatonic scale with only the black keys to get sort of that traditional Japanese or oriental type melody. But this scale right here is a little different. So you guys know that a lot of my videos are based on trap music, mainly because it's more of a modern sound and it's really the sound that got me into making hip-hop beats, because originally I started with more R&B, but I just really enjoy trap melodies. So the Akebono scale really lends itself well to creating an exotic sounding trap feel for beats. So again, if you've seen in my previous videos, I usually work in E minor, aka G major, just depends what note you're starting on, but it's the same exact keys, same exact notes, I should say. Right here, you'll notice right now I have E minor highlighted, and the thing that I like about this scale in particular, if you've seen my dark melody hexatonic scale tutorial, you'll know that I always skip this note right here. And I use all the other notes in the E minor scale. And of course, you could transpose and play that in any key just by going into your channel settings and right-clicking any of these notes, and it'll play in a new key. And that's how I typically achieve new keys. But the cool thing about this scale in particular is that it skips an additional note, and it's this G right here. But the great thing about these MIDI packs that I always give you guys, I also give you guys the scale. So you could take this and shift-click this up, shift-click it down, and you could achieve any of the other keys. And when you get the MIDI pack, it will come with all of these highlighted for you, just like this. And what I recommend doing is turning off your scale highlighter, go to helpers, scale highlighting, and then just click default. And that way you'll only have these exact MIDI notes highlighted whenever you go to a new instrument in the pattern. So if I were to clone this and treated it like a new instrument, I could go into the piano roll and you'll see that only those notes are highlighted. The MIDI pack will have these notes extended out to 8 bars. That way you'll have all the space that you need to make your melodies. It'll be really easy for you guys to click in these notes. So let's just go over some examples of what you could come up with just using the notes in the Akebono scale. Basically, in this exotic melody MIDI pack, I have 10 different MIDI melodies from the Akebono scale, and I'll have 10 different melodies from the other scale that I'm going to cover in the next video. So the link that I post in both videos will actually be for the same exact MIDI pack, so you don't have to download it twice or download 2 different MIDI packs. So yeah, I think the 2 most important things with this scale, sound selection is going to play a huge role. So with a lot of the inflections and tone of this particular instrument plays a lot into this particular scale to give it that exotic sounds. So if you have FL Studio and you have, I forget the name of it because I actually don't own this plugin, Sakura. That's actually a scale that I've heard someone talk about, but I believe the Sakura scale, if that is a scale, is actually the same exact notes as the Akebono scale. It's just in a different mode. I've kind of touched on modes before, but I haven't done a tutorial on it. But basically a mode is just using a scale, but starting with a different note. So basically whatever note that you're basing your melody off of to anchor the rest of the melody, that's going to be sort of defining what mode you're playing in, because it will give you a different vibe just by basing your melody on that particular note. That's something to keep in mind when you're working with any of these scales that I've been giving you. I can't remember which Japanese scale in particular has this rule, but there's one of these scales that doesn't necessarily have modes. And I think it actually was that first scale that I was playing for you, the one with just the 5 black keys. So starting on any of those notes, I don't believe that they have specific modes assigned to those particular notes, but I could be wrong. That's not something that I'm an expert in. I just have general knowledge on that. But that being said, there's a lot of Japanese scales out there, and really what I plan on showing you are just the 2 biggest ones, the 2 most important ones, specifically when it comes to making trap beats. And that's because a lot of these other scales, they're really talking about these modes, just playing these notes on starting with different notes. So if you just pay really close attention, you'll notice that a lot of those other scales are actually the same exact notes as these scales. And if you've been around this channel long enough, you know that I rant about not really worrying about the names of these scales. What really matters are what notes that you're choosing to use in your music at all. If you know these 2 scales that I'm about to show you with these exotic scales, you pretty much know almost all of the other scales that people try to teach you. So at least in terms of what notes to play and what notes not to play. So that's going to save you a lot of time just with that information right there. All of these melodies were made at 140 BPM, but definitely work with whatever tempo that you want to work with, and then just adjust the melody from there if you even need to adjust it at all. If you're not already, go ahead and follow me on Instagram. And for everyone here on YouTube, make sure you subscribe, hit that notification bell, and leave me a comment down below if you have any questions at all. I'll see you in the next video. Peace.
So